Hello and welcome everyone. It is time for Jim Comics Top Picks for New Comic Book Day this upcoming Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. Hope you're all doing well. Got the books you wanted the last few weeks. Enjoyed the holidays. Had a happy new year, all that. I wanted to wish you all a belated happy new year. I wasn't able to get a video out last week, just tied up with family and everything else. But back at it this week. Got some good books. Just want to let you know you're all awesome. Before we get going, I got to give a quick shout out to a few weeks back. Lefteros sent me a message. He's on Instagram. Asked if I wanted to collaborate with a couple other guys, and we all picked two books each, which you can still get for cover price, or at least you could back then. Just what we thought were good books for 2024 that kind of flew under the radar. So I really want to thank Lefteros for asking me to collaborate on that, and also a big shout out to Absolute Venom, who I've mentioned before, and Jeb Comics. All three of those guys are on Instagram. You can look them up. I'll put links down in the description down below. You can check them out. They all have good information, comic stuff, everything else. Which hey, I love it. So and they're collectors as well and everything else too. So it's all good. I was able to pick up a whole bunch of my books that I had pre-ordered for my shop because I had to drive down to the coast, drop my son off at the airport. So I was able to pick up a whole bunch of stuff. I haven't had a chance to read it all yet because, man, I got a lot of stuff to read. But I'm going to show a few of those before I get going into my picks this week. So bear with me. In the background, you can see I mentioned this one a few weeks back in one of my videos, Daredevil 16, the spoiler variant. I don't know. At the end of the day, you never see Daredevil or Bullseye in the book. All you see is his arm laying there in the book. But man, that's one of those covers. I just love it. It's kind of one of those ones that doesn't come around very often for Marvel. So I grabbed 2 copies of that one. I love it. Got my Ultimate Universe 1 Year In, obviously, the spoiler variant. I talked about that a ton. And yes, I know a lot of you. These to me. I don't normally collect previews, but that one's a big one with Ultimate Wolverine on it. So that's issue 38. Hope you got that. I mentioned that. Again, it's not a comic, but I still, being a collector, I try to get the ones that are worth getting. So don't pay anything for it. It's free. If you don't get it, whatever. It's not that big a deal. But anyways, I got that. I've been reading through. I read the Absolute Superman. Man, that was really, really good. And I mentioned this on my Instagram there recently. This is kind of a little bit of a spoiler. If you hadn't read it, you might want to fast forward through the... Anyways, it was really good. All these Absolute titles are so good. And there's a little preview of Aquaman if you want in the back, which I'll mention because that launches this week. So anyways, but so the interesting thing on the last page, you can see down at the very bottom, it says next the coming of the Omega Men, which it's kind of cool because they're bringing the Omega Men to the Absolute Universe, which I like. And I mentioned this on Instagram. If you haven't got Green Lantern number 141, that is their first appearance. So, and it's not a very pricey book. Like you can find that pretty inexpensive. So it's not a super expensive book if that's something you want. And interesting thing with that is I'm kind of leaning this way, and I've had a couple people comment on Instagram too that likely what's happening is they're introducing the Omega Men, and then that's going to lead right into Absolute Green Lantern, which launches in March in a couple months. So yeah, that Green Lantern 141 might be a good one to get. I also read this. When this Absolute Wonder Woman, I got the first couple issues thinking, yeah, I'm going to get it at their launch, and I wasn't expecting much from it, but man, it's been really good. And this issue, if you haven't read it, I don't want to go too much into it, but you learn about Wonder Woman's arm and everything, and it was pretty interesting. And right at the end, she drops this. Anyways, I guess I'm gonna show it. So if you haven't read it, fast forward through because boy, it was really good. The art, I will say though, the art in this one is not. It's a different style. I will say that, but it's pretty good. But anyways, yeah, you see this page with Wonder Woman's got her arm missing, and you kind of. I'm not gonna ruin what happened, but you learn why her arm is missing and everything else. And at the very end, she drops this spell. It's called what the heck was it called? Spell of Silence, I think it is. Yeah. The Sound of Silence is the next issue that's that's coming is what they're calling it. But because what the tetracide is, people get attracted to its screech, and then they all run towards the creature, and they end up dying. So obviously, if everybody's deaf, they won't be able to, or not deaf, but if they can't hear it, then they won't run to it and die. So that was the whole point of her doing that. An interesting thing, I don't think this is related at all, but you never know. If you remember in Justice League Unlimited, they had that 4-page prelude at the back. And one of the characters was called, well, at least it just was said Silence. And at the time, I'm like, I don't know who that is. It's probably totally unrelated. But if you remember, on this page here, they got this one thing that says Silence right there. I don't know who that is, but I don't know if her casting a spell for Silence is gonna radiate into Hush. Probably not. It's most likely completely unrelated, but it would be kind of interesting if they did cross it over that way. It'd be kind of cool if somehow it transferred to the normal DC universe, but we'll see. I also got, and I guess, well, we'll talk about it a bit later. There's a bunch of other stuff coming too, but I got my Wetego Warroth. Man, the artwork in this, I don't know if you guys got this, but it's dark, but man, it's really good. I haven't read that one yet, but I was flipping through it. I just got so much stuff to read. I got my Hulk 800, everything else, but oh boy, so many good books lately. And it sure seems like that DEI pendulum is swinging kind of back to where some common sense is coming into things, and it sure seems like the comics are going back that way too, because for the longest time they were pretty good. Anyways, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm really looking forward. If this year continues what happened the last half of 2024 with comics, boy, we're in for a good year. There's going to be some good stuff coming. So anyways, I'm going to get into what I'm looking at this week. We got a lot of good books. From Dark Horse, one I'm looking for, well, there's Carlisle School for Kings #3, just the one cover. I pre-ordered #1. It was coming from England. I still haven't got it because our post office was on strike, so hopefully I get that soon. But #3 is out. But one I'm really looking forward to them from this week is called Those Not Afraid #1. 2 covers for that. It's about a couple serial killers who learn they're both kind of at the verge of being the #1 serial killer of all time or whatever, so they're in a competition to see how many people they can kill. Sounds kind of interesting, but that's out this week from Dark Horse. From Image, we got Lucky Devils #1. That's launching. And if you've been paying attention, you know the exclusives from the Comic-Con, they were getting pretty pricey. So looking forward to that. Charles Sewell's the writer of this. He's a good writer. A bunch of covers, and Frank Miller's actually got a cover which compared to a lot of the recent ones he's dropped, this one's actually not bad because, boy, I mean, Frank Miller to me is just a legend. He's such a gifted artist and writer and everything else. But lately, some of his stuff's been a little suspect. But I'll give him a pass on that because he's been so good for so long. But he's got a cover B and then I think it's a virgin or a black and white. I didn't write it down, but they're basically the same image, just different cover. Those look pretty nice actually. So that's from Image, and then Transformers number 16. There's a bunch of covers for this one, but you'll see cover B on the screen there. It's a real man. I like that cover. It's a gorgeous cover. Apparently, I haven't read this, but I've read some stuff some people written. There's a pretty big spoiler the last couple pages in this. And there is a spoiler covered and sent of a 1 for $50, but the Image hasn't been released, or at least I haven't seen it yet. So if you're into Transformers, try to get that one this week. That looks like a good one. Oni Press, I really like Cruel Kingdom number 1 is out. There's a whole bunch of covers. But the cover A and B, which you'll see on the screen, boy, I really like those. And cover B, that totally reeks of Frank Frazetta. I don't know if that... I don't remember seeing... I've got a lot of Frank Frazetta books, and I don't remember seeing that image. It's to me, it's kind of a homage to Frank Frazetta, but it looks really good. And that looks like a cool... I love when they're doing these older style covers and books and stuff. That's just great stuff. From Alien Books, we've got, this is one I mentioned in my last video a couple weeks ago, Nexus Scourge #1. There's 2 covers out this week, at least listed on Midtown. And the first one you'll see is a trade, and I believe when it came out a month ago, that was just a virgin, and then there's a virgin of the one that was a trade. So I don't know. I don't know if it's technically a second printing, or these are just additional covers they're releasing because the first one sold fairly well. I don't know. But anyways, I love that the virgin one with the cape, like the black in the background. That looks like wicked cover. Anyways, just want to let you know that's out. From DC, boy, Absolute Batman #4. A whole bunch of covers for that. I'm just getting cover A, but again, boy, these Absolute titles are just so good. And as I mentioned several times, years from now, you're going to be glad you got these in your collection. They're really, really good. And I gotta keep talking about that for a sec. For me, what I really like is the you're getting the basic storyline, although it's been changed. But you know, it's still Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and all that. But the fact that you're changing it around, you have new characters, new situations, is not. I mean, I've read so many of those comics for, I've been reading comics for 50 years, but you can only write a story about Batman and the Riddler and the Joker and whatever so many times before, after a while, it's hard to come up with some new stuff. And these are just so good. Anyway, I know you know this, but I just had to ramble on about that. It's been really good. As I mentioned earlier, there's a preview for Aquaman #1 in one of the, I think it was Superman there. Absolute Superman. It was, I'm not getting it, but I just want to let you know it's out. I'm not a huge Aquaman fan. Aquaman, however you pronounce it. A bunch of covers for that. There is a nice, I think it's cover H. You'll see it on the screen. It's a pretty nice cover. I do like that one. That one looks really nice. A big one from DC this week, DC vs. Vampires World #6, cover B, the Mark Spears cover. That's a really nice cover. Regardless if it's Spears or not, that's just a really nice cover. And not all of Spears stuff I would run out and buy, but that one looks really good. That's a nice looking cover. That's it from DC. From Marvel, we got all new Venom #2. The cover A's, decent cover. It's talking about the Symbiote Squad, so I don't know if we're getting first full appearance of Symbiote Squad or if it's a different Symbiote Squad, whatever. But anyways, that's apparently in there. And then there is a really nice Paratori, I don't know how you pronounce this, I'm probably butchering the name, Paratori variant. You see it on the screen. That's a nice looking cover. I like that one. Daredevil Unleash Hell Red Band #1 is out this week. It's about Elektra and going off fighting. Looks like there's a serial killer. There's a really nice tan cover, and it looks like the killer technically is kind of on the cover in the background there. That's I like that one. That's a good one. I think I'm going to try and get that one. Fantastic Four #1. They're doing another facsimile. The original facsimile came out in 2018, and that was one of the first facsimiles that kind of started that run of facsimiles that Marvel did. So down the road, if you don't get this and you want to get I would recommend getting the 2018 one because that's the first one, and that one's about a $30 price range too. So just be careful. Because you're not going to be able to tell the difference from the cover. You're going to have to read the indicia inside, and that'll tell you the date it was printed. Just so you know. Magic #1 is out this week. Bunch of covers for that one. J. Scott Campbell's got some covers, whole bunch of them. That's one you're looking at. New Champions #1, that's out with a whole bunch of covers, and as you know, I mean, all these books with your first appearance of Spider-Girl and Hulkette and Spider-Boy and Phantasma and all that have all been leading to this new series that they're launching. So we'll have to see how it does. It may be okay, maybe not be. I don't know, but I think with how well Strange Academy did with all the younger characters, this one may actually do okay. I recommend you pick one of those up. I am anyways, because you just never know. I mean, we're gonna launch something with that down the road as far as TV shows and stuff. What If Galactus Transformed Gambit #1 is out this week. Bunch of covers. I'm not picking that one up, but let you know that's out. And Wolverine #5. It looks like we're finally going to kind of see who or what this creature is in Wolverine that's been kind of taking over the bodies, because in the solicitation it says who or what is the adamantine. You can actually see it right on the cover. You'll see the cover image there. So I'm looking forward to finally figuring out what or who that thing is. That looks good. So anyways, my picks this week, well, we got some good ones. We got Lucky Devils #1. Like I say, that one is, I think it'll be probably a little bigger print run just because the exclusive did really well. So a lot of shops probably ordered that one pretty heavy, but worth picking that up. Absolute Batman #4. Can't not have that in my picks. DC vs. Vampires World #6. Mark Spears cover, regular price cover. Definitely worth picking that up. Wolverine #5. Looks like we're going to find out who or what is adamantine. A couple honorable mentions. Those Not Afraid #1 from Dark Horse. That looks interesting. And Transformers #16, just because it looks like we're getting probably a new character launching in that or whatever. But I like cover B the best out of all those. So that's the one I'm going to try and get, because that's a gorgeous looking cover. And boy, I just can't get over how good these Absolute titles are. I can't say they're all going to be fantastic, but I already pre-ordered Green Lantern, Absolute Green Lantern, which comes out in March. Looking forward to that. I think, like I say, I think the Omega Men, which are going to be showing up in the next issue of Superman, that's going to probably, like I say, lead right into Absolute Green Lantern and be ties to Superman too. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, stay tuned. There you go, folks. Happy hunting. Talk to you later in the week. I hope you're all having a great new year, and we'll talk to you later in the week. Bye for now.